Hey, what's shaking, everyone? I just wanted to make a video, and actually I want to make a statement. And that's that there's no one right approach to naturally healing Crohn's disease, colitis, and other autoimmune diseases. I spent a lot of time looking at social media or YouTube and other mediums just checking out information. And I noticed I see a lot of people preaching that their way is the only way to get better. And as much as I appreciate their passion and their intent to help people, I truly do. But having the mindset that there's only one approach to get better is complete nonsense. And I'll give you an example. When I first started trying to get better in my healing journey, I hopped on a diet called the SCD diet. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this diet. I remember being on some SCD forums and different lists that they had at the time. And I wanted to try some things that were outside of SCD. As soon as I wanted to do anything outside of SCD, I was ostracized for saying, why would you go do that? That's not part of this protocol. You shouldn't do that. And you know what? I found that it became so dogmatic, that the people were so strict that they created all these rules around a system that was meant to grow, that it ends up stagnating people so that people don't get the results they want. And I'm not just isolating it to that one protocol or that one diet. I'm saying that this happens all over the place, where people think that there's only one approach to get better, or that you can't try different things. Over the last 10 years, I've had the privilege to speak with so many different people that healed their diseases, whether cancer, Crohn's, colitis, variety of autoimmune diseases, and they did it using a variety of approaches and diets. You know, whether it's SCD, GAPS, keto, vegan, paleo, the Weston Price approach, the Gerson Therapy, life without bread, and many more. So obviously there's not just one approach to heal your Crohn's or colitis. You know, there's multiple approaches. So to get stuck in a mindset where you believe that only one approach will work, that's not the best place to be. I think the better question is, what do these approaches have in common with each other? Perhaps it's that they advise eating real food. They decrease or lessen the toxic load. They correct nutritional deficiencies. They reduce the amount of processed garbage that goes into your body. They reduce or remove gluten. They decrease the amount of sugar going into your body, and many other common denominators. You know, so for anybody watching this, don't believe that there's only one solution or approach to any problem, because that's a bogus way to think. A little life lesson. I think in the last 10 years has taught me a lot about myself. And it's taught me that I don't know everything. Only my wife does, if she happens to be watching this. But no, she doesn't. But when I think about my life and I think about the stuff that I've learned, especially going from I'm 35 now, but being in my early 20s, I thought I knew everything. I was this dude that was addicted to being right. I always wanted to be right. I wanted to win arguments. And I don't know if it was to have that power, that control of winning an argument, but it was wrong. It was a completely bad attitude that I have. You know, and I've grown to be this person that is addicted to learning and addicted to growing. So when I have a conversation, I want to learn from that conversation. I'm open to the fact that I might be wrong. You know, I consider multiple opinions, even if I might not agree with them on the surface. Conflicting opinions, different opinions, you name it, I consider different opinions. I look at lots of material. And you know what? For anybody that's following this channel, I might speak about different protocols, different diets. When I research information, like look, here's some books on my desk, okay? So I read a variety of topics, whether it's about cancer, different therapies, autoimmune disease. And not only do I just read these books, I go through them, and I make a lot of comments. I keep notes, I keep track of things, and I process them later, and that's where I get the common denominators when it comes to thinking about healing approaches and what makes sense and why they make sense on basic levels. You know what? That eases me into the next subject that I think that's really important, is that common sense is way more valuable than intelligence, because everybody can remember some facts and think that they're smart, but how far does that really get you? We live in this confirmation bias society where I can hop on Google and I could search anything that I want and it spits out the results that I want. And what I mean by confirmation bias is I can say, why does this diet work? And it will give me reasons why the diet works. But I can also go, why does this diet not work? And it will spit out all the reasons why this diet doesn't work. It gives you evidence for whatever you want. It doesn't make one truthful or not truthful. It just gives you what you ask. And you know what? For most people, this creates a lot of confusion. And it makes you really tired to know what's the truth and what's not. And usually what happens is it's the people that are the loudest, or the opinions that are the most popular, that seem to be the direction that most people take. And that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make them truthful. That doesn't make them right. And it also lessens the chances of actually healing, achieving remission, finding a solution to your problem. Going back to what I said about things being basic, or going back to basics. It always seems like if you ask basic fundamental questions when it comes to healing, you get a lot more answers that make sense to you. And I'll give you an example. If we asked ourselves, what did our ancestors do differently than we do today? And I'm not talking about the Paleolithic era, thousands of years ago. I'm saying try a few decades ago, a few generations ago. What did they do differently? Do they eat as much sugar as we eat now? Do they eat as much processed garbage as we eat now? Did they eat 5 to 10 times a day? What did they do differently? Spend some time researching this question. And I think that you'll find your answer when it comes to healing and some of the common denominators that might lead to getting sick in the first place and healing. And I think when you're looking at research, you gotta make sure that it passes that basic litmus test, or if you want to call it your bullshit test or whatever. Because really, what good is research or information if you can't use it on a basic level? If you can't put it into practice, can you actually use that information to help you heal from your autoimmune disease, Crohn's, colitis, MS, you name it? Does this information actually help me heal? And that's when it comes down to, that's what it comes down to. And for anybody watching this, I want you to really take away the main message of this video, that there's multiple approaches to beating your disease, whether it's Crohn's disease, colitis, other autoimmune diseases. There's multiple approaches, whether it's protocols, diets, you name it. Do your research. See what passes that basic litmus test or your BS test, whatever you want to call it. See what feels right with you. What does your gut say? Because ultimately it's you that's the one that's going to get behind that program and actually do it. So follow your gut feeling, guys. Do what you think's right. What makes sense to you on a basic level. And yeah, but I know you guys got this. Thanks a million for the support. As always, I appreciate it. If you guys want to participate, if you guys want to throw a comment in about what worked for you, what didn't, how you feel sometimes, leave a comment. Tell me about how you feel. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
Are you tired of feeling crappy? Get my free healing guide. Tips, tweaks, and hacks. Click the description for more information.